The CEO leaned back in her tall glass office, staring through the massive windows that overlooked the entire city. The evening sun painted the skyline in shades of gold and fire, but inside her chest there was only silence. After a long pause, she quietly admitted something she had never said out loud before. She hadn't had a man in 2 years. Not because she couldn't. Not because she wasn't beautiful or successful. But because somewhere along the way, her heart had forgotten how to trust. What she didn't know was that the man standing outside her office door at that very moment, a tired single father holding a folder of job applications and a heart full of quiet determination, was about to change everything in a way neither of them could have imagined. Before we go further into this emotional story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected connections, take a moment to like this video, comment below, tell us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss stories that touch the heart. The single father's name was Jonathan Alexander Carter. Life had not been kind to him in the past few years. 2 winters ago, his wife Emily had passed away after a sudden illness that left him standing alone in a hospital hallway with their 4-year-old daughter, Lily Grace Carter, clinging to his leg and asking when Mommy would come home. That question had shattered him in ways words could never describe. Since then, Jonathan had been doing everything he could to survive. Not thrive. Just survive. He worked small construction jobs, delivered groceries at night, and sometimes skipped meals so Lily could have the cereal she liked before kindergarten. His once confident posture had been replaced with quiet exhaustion, but his eyes still carried something powerful, love for his daughter and a determination that refused to die. That morning had started like many others. Jonathan woke before sunrise in their small rented apartment. The paint on the walls was peeling and the heater made strange noises, but Lily still called it our castle, which made Jonathan smile every time. He carefully brushed Lily's messy curls while she sat on the kitchen counter eating toast. She laughed when he accidentally tangled the brush again. That small laugh was enough to keep him going another day. But the truth was, he was running out of options. The construction company he worked for had shut down the previous week. The landlord had already sent a warning about late rent. Jonathan needed a stable job, something that would allow him to give Lily a better life. That was how he ended up standing nervously inside the lobby of one of the most powerful companies in the city, Blackwood Global Enterprises. The building itself felt like a different universe. Marble floors, towering ceilings, and people in elegant suits moving with purpose. Jonathan felt completely out of place in his worn jacket and scuffed shoes, but he held the folder tighter. Inside were his references, certifications, and the last bit of hope he had left. Blackwood Global Enterprises was run by one of the most respected and feared business leaders in the country, Victoria Eleanor Blackwood. Victoria Blackwood was known as the Iron Queen of corporate strategy. At 37, she had built an empire from the ground up after inheriting a struggling company from her late father. Through intelligence, relentless work, and an almost frightening focus, she had turned it into a billion-dollar powerhouse. But success had come with a cost. 2 years earlier, Victoria had ended a deeply painful relationship with a man who had betrayed her trust and tried to exploit her company. Since that day, she had closed every door around her heart. No relationships. No distractions. Only work. Her employees respected her. Many feared her. But no one truly knew her. Except perhaps the quiet loneliness that followed her home every night to her massive penthouse apartment. That afternoon, Jonathan wasn't supposed to meet her at all. He had applied for a simple maintenance position. But fate had its own plans. While waiting in the lobby, Lily suddenly started coughing. The poor girl had caught a small cold, and the dry air inside the building made it worse. Jonathan knelt beside her, gently rubbing her back, whispering soft reassurances. At that exact moment, Victoria Blackwood stepped out of the elevator. Her day had been brutal: 3 board meetings, a tense investor call, and a legal issue that threatened a major contract. Her patience was nearly gone. But as she walked across the lobby, something unusual caught her attention. The sight of a man kneeling beside a small girl, holding her gently while she coughed into his shoulder. There was something about the way he comforted her. Not rushed. Not embarrassed. Just pure, quiet love. Victoria paused. For a brief moment, the noise of the entire building seemed to disappear. Jonathan noticed her only when Lily pointed toward the tall woman in the elegant black suit. He stood quickly, slightly embarrassed. But Victoria didn't look annoyed. Instead, she looked curious. And that was how their worlds collided. Later that afternoon, through a strange twist of scheduling errors and curiosity, Jonathan found himself sitting across from Victoria Blackwood inside her office. The same office where she had quietly admitted earlier that she had not allowed any man into her life for 2 years. Jonathan had no idea. He simply answered her questions honestly. About his work. His skills. His daughter. When he spoke about Lily, his voice softened in a way that made something stir deep inside Victoria's guarded heart. She saw a man who had every reason to give up, but didn't. A man who carried pain but still chose kindness. By the end of the interview, Victoria made a decision that surprised even herself. She offered him a full-time facilities supervisor position, far better than the job he had applied for. Jonathan was stunned. But what truly shocked him was what happened next. Because over the next few weeks, something unexpected began to grow inside the walls of Blackwood Global Enterprises. Lily occasionally visited after school. She would sit quietly in the lobby drawing pictures while Jonathan finished his shift. One afternoon, Victoria noticed one of those drawings left on a table. It was a crayon picture of 3 people holding hands under a bright yellow sun. At the top, Lily had written in wobbly letters, "Me, Daddy, and the nice boss lady." That drawing stayed on Victoria's desk for the rest of the day. Something inside her chest, something she thought had disappeared forever, began to wake up. Slowly. Carefully. Over months, their conversations grew longer. Their smiles more natural. Jonathan never treated Victoria like a powerful CEO. He simply treated her like a human being. And Victoria, for the first time in years, felt seen. Not as a billionaire. Not as a corporate leader. But as a woman who had been hurt and was slowly learning how to breathe again. One snowy evening, Lily ran into Victoria's office with a handmade paper snowflake and hugged her without warning. Victoria froze for a second. Then something remarkable happened. She hugged her back. Tears quietly filled her eyes. Because sometimes the heart doesn't heal through grand gestures. Sometimes it heals through small moments of genuine love. And Jonathan Carter had unknowingly brought those moments back into her life. But before we reach the end of this story, take a moment right now and comment the word hope if you believe that life can still surprise us with kindness when we least expect it. 2 years after that first meeting in the lobby, Victoria Blackwood stood in a quiet park watching Lily run across the grass with a bright red kite. Beside her stood Jonathan. Not as an employee. Not as a stranger. But as the man who had gently, patiently reminded her that love doesn't have to be perfect to be real. Sometimes the strongest hearts are the ones that have been broken, and choose to open again anyway. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and leave a comment telling us what part moved you the most. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. And remember, sometimes the most powerful love stories begin not with perfect people, but with 2 wounded hearts learning how to trust again. Red Heart.